What's going on? I want to thank y'all for tuning in and watching LEC TV. And I'm pretty sure you all are wondering, well, what is LEC TV? Well, our channel is called The Life of Excellent Conquerors. So I thought, well, what about LEC TV? So just let me know down in the comments what you all think about that title, or if you have any other suggestions for us. We're open to those as well. So at the title of the video, you know that I'm going to be sharing with you all some tips for success as a wholesaler. So there are basically, in the last video I did, it was plans for 2019. I had shared the fact that me and my husband did get our foot into the real estate field thanks to our cousin Indica, and I'm going to share all her information in the description box so that you all can go and add her up on Facebook, and she can also give you some more information, because I'm just going to share a few things with you all today. But basically, in the last video, like I was saying, a wholesaler is like, you're the middleman between the buyer and the seller. So it's always important first, once you pick the property that you want to start up a deal with, you're going to contact the seller first. And when you contact the seller, I want you to keep in mind that you want to make sure that the seller is also the owner of that property. That's very important too, because if the seller is not the owner of the property, then they're not going to be able to answer the questions that you're going to be asking. And they may very well be able to answer those questions, but you always want to speak with the owner of the property, because they know the property way better than the seller that's listed. And also, if the owner of the property is not the seller, then you want to you also want to ask the seller, you know, if they are a wholesaler, and if they are, just ask them if they're interested in doing a joint venture deal with you. Basically, you all would be splitting the profits on that sale. But if they decide that they don't want to work with you, then that's fine. You can just move on to the next property. But if they're like a real estate agent, then yeah, your best bet is to move on to the next property, because a real estate agent, they're going through an agency. So they are not really going to want to work with anyone else on that deal except for them, you know, themselves and the agency that they're with. So it's best to just move on to the next property. Hi, MJ. Everybody say hi to MJ. Well, you probably can't see him now, but you hear him. Yeah. But see, he said, yeah. But yes, once you once you make contact with the seller, once you figure out who is the owner of the property, you want to also ask them why they're selling the property, because that is important, because it has to do with what was I saying? I forgot what I was saying, y'all. Oh yeah, you want to ask them why are they selling the property, because that determines the value of the property. And then you also want to ask them, have there been any liens or foreclosures on the property, because that also affects the value of the property. Another thing that you want to ask them as well is if they've done any renovations to the property, and if there are any other renovations that need to be done to the property as well, because that's all going to affect the asking price as well. So once you get all that information, you want to take that information and you want to combine that information with some other research that you're going to do. Basically, you're going to go to the county assessor's website for that area that the property is located in, and you basically just put in that address, and it's going to give you a bunch of different information on that property. Like, it'll give you the year that the property was built. It's going to give you the actual value of the property. It's also going to list the owner of the property, and it will also tell you if there's any, if there have been any foreclosures or liens on the property. So that's a good resource to use, is the county assessor's website. Hi, MJ. And then also, when you go onto that the assessor's website, it might also tell you, I think it does tell you too, the square footage of the property as well. Sorry, y'all. MJ's trying to grab the tripod. So sorry, y'all. Trying to make sure he don't knock the camera down. But he's talking. MJ, he's messing. His daddy is behind the camera. So of course he wants to talk to daddy in front of the camera. Hey, you gotta use your inside voice. All right, y'all. But so once you go onto the county assessor's website and you get that information, then you're also going to look at different properties in that area that have recently been sold, and you're going to look at what they've sold for, just so you can also compare the asking price of your property to the asking prices or the selling prices of other properties in that area as well. So you just want to make sure that you're giving the buyer a fair deal. So once you compare other properties in the area, then that's when you're going to start looking at your numbers. You're going to start seeing how, estimating how much the cost of repairs are going to be, if there are any repairs that need to be made on the property. You're also going to be looking at the true value of the property, and then you're also going to be looking at the asking price of the property. There's also another thing that you want to ask the seller too. You want to ask them if they're willing to negotiate on the asking price. Like I said, that's a good thing to relay back to the buyer, so that he can, know what he's dealing with in this deal. And then once you've gathered all that information, of course, you're going to talk to the buyer and you're going to present all this information to the buyer. And that way they can determine whether they want, whether they want to spend their money on this property or they just want to move on to something else. But that's just a few of the tips that I just wanted to share with you all. And that's what I've been doing for the last couple of months, looking at different properties. Like I said, I haven't closed on any deals yet, but I know that's going to come eventually. So I'm not worried about that. But again, I'm going to share my cousin's information with you all down in the description box. So like I said, you can go and get any more information that you want to know about the wholesaling process from her. All right, you guys. Also, before I go, I did want to let y'all know, in the last video, I said that we were going to try to go to a more consistent schedule in April. So I think the days that we're going to be posting on is going to be Mondays and Wednesdays. I think we're going to go with that, but we will probably be doing some like pre-recording. So I'm going to try to get in the habit of telling you all what day I'm recording on in the videos. So today is it's actually Saturday, right, babe? Yeah, Saturday, March the 29th. Yeah, Saturday, March the 29th. I'm not sure, that date might be wrong, but it is Saturday that we are recording on. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just going to try to remember to get into a habit of that, because we're probably going to be doing a lot of pre-recording starting next month in April. So until the next video, if it ain't excellent, it's irrelevant.